Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Good time to head up to the PNW there. Check in with Michael Bumpus, former Seahawks wide receiver. Co-host of Bump and Stacy on 710 ESPN up in Seattle, seattlesports.com. They've been great friends of ours up there, their media group for a long time. We appreciate Michael for a couple of minutes. How are you, man?
What's up, fellas? How you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Be doing better if the Saints had a little bit better start to the season. Hey, but I do want to start. Musso told me that you took an official visit to LSU when you were coming out of Culver City.
Yeah, out of Culver City back in, 2003, I took that trip down to Baton Rouge, met with Nick Saban. Jamarcus Russell was on the team at the time. It was a great experience, man. I got family in Biloxi, Mississippi, so whenever I go down there, I fly to New Orleans all the time and then make that drive down the Gulf Coast.
Man, would you have ever thought and so ultimately you signed with Washington State, but man, would you have ever thought, like, when you met Nick then, that he'd be what he is?
No idea. You know what I did know at the time? I know he was a very intense individual, and my laid-back Cali style probably wasn't going to mix with his. So we went our separate ways. But it's nice to be able to see him then and then see where he is now, man. It's beautiful.
Man, I'm blanking. There was another receiver. Might have been, was it Amp Hill? I know he's from Florida. There was a receiver from California who signed with LSU, got here, lasted like a day, and flew home. It was like, it's too damn hot, the humidity, I can't do this, and went home. But anyway.
I think it was Hawkins. I think was his last name.
It was Hawkins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, good pull, man. Who ended up at Cal, didn't he?
Yep. Ended up at Cal.
Good pull. I'm enjoying this already. Now, I don't know if I'm enjoying the game on Sunday as much as I'm enjoying this conversation. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Seahawks. Through the first month of the season, based on what a realistic expectation for this team was, how do you gauge what this first month has been at 2-2?
It's been up and down. You know, you come out the first game, Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson's coming into town, emotions are flying high, and Geno has a game that no one expects him to have. Super efficient. You beat Russell Wilson. He has a chance to win the game at the end, but Daniel Hackett puts it on the foot. They miss the field goal. All is well, and you're thinking, okay, we'll see what's going on with this team. And then the 49ers have a way to humble you with that defense and just the offense that they have over there with all the misdirection. Then you get to the Falcons, you get into a shootout. You're thinking, okay, Geno's still playing well. You get to week 4, you're playing against the Detroit Lions, and these were teams that pretty much mirrored each other. We're going to put up a lot of points or put up points and not play any defense. So right now we're thinking, honestly, going into this season, I thought the defense would be the strong point of this team. You got a new defensive coordinator, got a new scheme, new personnel. You lost Jamal Adams, but you still feel like there's going to be enough there. And you think this offense is going to be the side of the ball that's going to struggle. So we're in Seattle right now, just scratching our heads like, what the heck is going on? Geno is just won NFC Player of the Week. We're confused, honestly, but we like that Geno is holding it all together.
What has worked so well for Geno? Because this was not expected, right? I mean, this was, hey, man, they're just going to kind of patch it together with Russ gone until they can figure out what the plan is for the future. And now, as you just mentioned, I mean, Geno Smith just won NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, he looks more than just like a competent game manager.
Yeah, I'd say his inability is his best ability, is that he doesn't have the ability to scramble for 5 or 6 seconds and throw the ball deep down the field. He understands that for me to be successful, I have to run this offense and use all the keys that Shane Waldron, this offensive coordinator, is giving him. Sometimes Russell, he's great, man. And a lot of people don't like Russell out here, but I tell them, don't forget what he did for this city and his abilities. Russell's ability hurts him sometimes because he has the ability to extend plays and throw the ball down the field and make the big plays. Geno has sat for 8 years, fellas. He's sat behind Russell, Eli, and Phillip Rivers. He's had a lot of time to learn, and I think he's learned from these future Hall of Famers and is really a conductor of this offense and making some plays for us.
How does Geno Smith in this offense match up against the Saints defense?
I think Geno matches up against any defense if he's kept clean. Now, that doesn't mean that he will dominate a game. Now, he's thrown for over 300 yards for 2 weeks in a row. First time in his career he's ever done that. So I don't sit here and say, okay, he's going to go out against this Saints defense and do exactly what he did. I think what he will do is take anything that this defense has given him. You're going to see him walk to the line of scrimmage. He's going to check out of things. He's going to check into things. He's going to change his protection. What I love about Geno, he gets the offense out the huddle early enough to where he can diagnose what's going on. But I anticipate this being a close game just because of what the defense has done over here. Not very much. And you know what it is out there in New Orleans. It's going to be loud. It's going to be competitive no matter who's under center. So he's a guy who's going to take what the defense is giving him.
Man, there is going to be definitely sort of an air of desperation for the Saints in that dome because, they just can't fall to 1-4. But we saw these teams play a year ago, and the Saints won it 13-10. How similar is Seattle to? Obviously no Russ, which is massive. I'm not trying to undersell that, but to the team that played in that game on Monday night a year ago in October.
I think it's a different team. I'm talking about the Seahawks. It's a different team because when you're a quarterback and you're off the bench, you're coming in, obviously throughout the week, you're preparing as if you are the guy. Every quarterback's going to say that, guys. Right? Look, I prepare every week like I'm a starter. No, you don't. You do not prepare every week like you're the starter, especially when you're playing behind Russell Wilson, a guy who never misses ball games. And then you got to think about where Shane Waldron was as a coordinator. I think Shane Waldron is doing his best job as a coordinator now because he has a Geno Smith. That guy is going to do exactly what he wants to do. So that playbook looked a little different last year when New Orleans and Seattle played because Shane Waldron and Russell Wilson were coming up with game plans and how they want to attack a defense. So I think this is a different team because it's more balanced and Shane has control. Shane's running the offense that he did over there with the Rams or helped out with the Rams. And if you look at Jared Goff, you put Jared Goff and Geno Smith together. We saw them last week. They're kind of like the same quarterback, fellas. And Jared Goff did go to a Super Bowl because he did exactly what the offense required of him. So I think it's a less explosive offense, but that's better fit for Geno.
A couple more minutes here with Michael Bumpus. He's on Twitter at Michael Bumpus5, former Seahawks wide receiver, does radio on 710 ESPN up there in Seattle. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us. So I mentioned the game a year ago. It was Geno against Taysom. We'll see Geno, but against Jameis. We'll see Geno. We won't see Jameis this weekend, most likely, as he's dealing with that back injury. How does Seattle's defense match up against this Saints offense, which has, they've just really kind of been stuck in the mud here to start the season?
I think that this defense doesn't match up well with anybody right now. If you turn on the film, they've allowed a bunch of yards through the air. They have a bunch of yards on the ground. So I think they're still experimenting. They're trying to figure out who they are. We know, okay, on paper, you're going to be a 3-4 type of scheme. Where guys are going to line up according to the formation that you're looking at. But now this defense was tailored for Jamal Adams. Like I'm looking at camp during the summertime, and I'm seeing Jamal Adams in the box. I'm seeing him used as a linebacker. Take a linebacker out, and you got two safeties over the top. And they're trying to do these things, but they don't have a Jamal Adams, and they're not getting the edge rush that they wanted out of a Darrell Taylor and a Boye Mafe. Or Chinna Nwosu has been all right. He's been doing his thing. So I look at this defense and I say they're still trying to get right. And if you want to be one-dimensional and attack this defense, I think you're going to be playing into the cards of this defense. They can handle one thing at a time. Once you start mixing things up, that's where it gets a bit difficult for you. So it all depends on who's healthy for you guys, right? Alvin Kamara was limited in practice. You got Jarvis Landry, who has an ankle. Jameis Winston is doing his thing, and Michael Thomas didn't practice on Wednesday. If you guys are completely healthy and you're able to be that offense that I thought you guys were going to be on the ground, through the air, match us with Kamara, getting him out in the backfield, line him up with a linebacker, it's going to be a tough day. But if it's one-dimensional, I think the Hawks have a chance.
I got two more things for you. Your time, much appreciated. One, look, you played in the league. Travel is always something we talk about. Seattle coming from the Pacific Northwest down to New Orleans, but the Saints are also having a quick turnaround from London.
Yeah.
How much does, as a player, how much does that travel for both teams weigh on you this week?
It plays a big role. When I was with the Seahawks, we used to travel to the East Coast and get smacked all the time. Like we couldn't figure out the formula. Do we get there 2 days early, a day early? When do we make these guys sleep? What are they eating? it seems like the Seahawks have kind of figured out what they're doing. I think they're 10 of the last 11 on East Coast trips. Now, for the New Orleans Saints, I mean, you're crossing, 3-4 time zones. You know what I mean? I'm surprised that they're playing this week, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting your body back in that routine. The best football I've ever played was when I ate the same thing at the same time, when I watched the same thing, when I drank the same thing, when I woke up at the same time, I was in the same bed. Football players and athletes in general are such routine-based animals that when it's shaken up a little bit, it's going to affect you. But those veteran teams find a way to get it done. So you got to look in the locker room and look at your guys who have been there, who've done that, and to guide these younger guys that you're going to ask to make plays, a guy like Olave that's been doing well over there. It definitely affects them, but at the end of the day, they're professionals, and it's not just on them, it's on the coaching staff, it's on the training staff to use all the data and the science that they have access to now and to set these guys up just to play as hard as they can for as long as they can.
Hey, before you go, man, really enjoy the conversation. What's the temperature there around Pete Carroll?
What's the temp? I'm telling you one thing. I think people have a greater appreciation for Pete right now than they did a couple weeks ago. All right, you know what I say before the season started? Because I'm out here and people are saying, what are you doing? Go get Jimmy. Go get Baker. Drew Lock needs to play. We know who Geno Smith is. And Pete's telling these guys, hey, simmer down. I got this. I think we have a guy who's going to do exactly what they want him to do. So right now he's looking like a genius. As long as Geno Smith is playing good football, he looks good. But now you look at that defense and they're like, aren't you a defensive guy, Pete? Yeah. What's going on there? So I think people appreciate him. I think he's going to play out his contract. I don't think he's on the hot seat at all. But I think that he's got some tweaking to do on that defense. But Geno has saved him. I promise you that.
He is Michael Bumpus on Twitter at Michael Bumpus5. Go give him a follow. Middays on 710 ESPN, SeattleSports.com. Man, great convo. Really appreciate it. All the best.
Hey, thanks, guys. Good luck this week.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.